Welcome back, Silver Punks. In today's video, we're going to be looking at doing something a little bit different. We're going to try and do a very small production run or something. We're probably looking at 10 to 20 items. So we're just going to have a little run through and have a look what we're going to do.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I think we've had some previous success with a school round. What's it, 30, 40 mil. So we're going to do something a little bit smaller, aren't we? So that you can generate and produce a bunch more of those school rounds.
Yeah, because obviously the thing is, when you're doing more than one of something, the cost of the silver comes into play, doesn't it? If we done, say, 10 of them big school rounds, you're probably talking a kilo, if not more, of silver.
Yeah.
So
we can't afford
that. And we're going to do them half the size, aren't we? 20 mil wide, and it should come out at between 15 and 20 grams, something like that. We're guessing.
Yeah. Now we already know where this file is, so we know where to find it. It's something that we've used previously, but we want to show you in Thingiverse where we have got the original source file from. And part of the reason for that is because we need to attribute the work that we're doing to who's the guy who did this, Click to Enlarge. So we need to give him Nick Jewell, give him some props for producing this model, and make sure that he's recognised as the originator of the 3D model, because we're kind of standing on his shoulders. But we wanted to do that and make sure it's really clear where we're getting the original model from, that we're using as our jumping off point.
Yeah, so, and as you can see, it looks really cool there, doesn't it? Just just a 3D print painted up.
No, it will look a lot more like that when it comes out, but smaller. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to download the STL, the Cacher Coin object.
And sorry, just to interrupt. There's two things there. We're just doing the coin, aren't we?
We're not going to do the stand. There's no point because we're not going to cast that in silver, unless you really want to. I don't think you do you?
No. I was just thinking it. Perhaps, I don't know. Perhaps down the line we could 3D print the stand if you wanted to buy one, and then you put it on a little stand. Look cool.
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
Wouldn't it if you wanted one? And I'm just thinking if I had one, standing it up. But saying that, it might be too small for what we're doing. 20 mil is not very tall. It's not very big.
Okay, so I'm just going to create a folder for it. Save the STL. And then the next step in the process for 3D printing is to slice the file. So these files are they're 3D models, and what you need to do with your 3D model, you need to make it suitable for 3D printing, and you need to make it suitable for your 3D printer. And the way you do that is you slice it into the lines that the 3D printer generates, and produces one at a time.
So sorry, Judge. Let me just jump in there for a layman here. So basically, when you say splicing and lines, basically you mean each layer it prints. It prints on one line at a time, which is like a layer, like leveling up.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's how you get from the bottom to the top of the print. Is it does it in small layered increments. So they're going to be, each layer is going to be like 0.12 millimeter, but obviously over time that kind of adds up to something that's solid.
Yeah, got you.
So we created the Skull Coin 3D. I'm going to open that file. Oh, it's a bit of a big one. I'm just going to rotate it so it's flat. Now this is way too big for us. At the moment, that's 15 centimeters by 15 centimeters by 40 centimeters, but we're going to go for.
You're probably talking about 10 kilos.
I know, yeah. What a behemoth that would be. Oh, I don't know what. Oh, Cura just crashed. So let's reopen that.
Live crashes, see, it happens to the best of us.
Exactly.
Just going to keep on doing it.
So we're in the right 3D print settings. Let's open up the object again. Give that a whirl. We'll rotate it by 90 degrees, and we will have a look at the size. So like I say, it's 15 centimetres by 15 centimetres, and we're talking more like
2 centimetres,
2 centimetres by 2 centimetres. So we're going to just change that to 20 mil, and because uniform scaling is ticked, it's going to adjust the dimensions of the rest of the model. So that's done the heavy lifting for us. And so there it is on the effectively what would be the print bread. Now, because we're going to do sorry, carry on, mate.
No, I was just going to say, I think I preempted. I think I know what you was going to say. I was just about to say, no, we're doing more than one, aren't we?
We are.
So, and we've had a bit of an idea. We're going to do each one individual to the 3D print. Am I correct in thinking that's what we're going to have a crack at?
Yes, yeah. So each of the 3D prints, I mean, technically it should be the same because it's going through the same process. But obviously in the physical world, there is some mild variations because of...
And when I come to do the impression, they'll all be slightly different as well. Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to print out a batch of these, and then the 3D model that gets used in the sand casting will be will sit alongside the original the silver piece of art that's being produced.
So the unique, each print is so each print is unique to the piece of silver. Then the piece of silver is unique to each print.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Cool.
So with that in mind, I'm going to create a batch of these, and I'm going to print 5 at a time. So there is an option, if I can find it, to duplicate, multiply. I think that's it. Ah, there you go. So I can get 4 copies. There we go.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
It lays them out nice and neatly for us. So the reason why I'm not going to do 20 or whatever is because I do like to check the quality of a set of prints, and at the super quality, which is the best quality settings, that's still going to take an hour and nearly an hour and a quarter to print out. So if I did four times that, so 20 or 25, you're talking multiple hours. And if there's anything wrong with the prints, then we've got a problem, and it's a waste of doing that. I'd rather lose an hour and then restart, sort the problem out, whatever it is, and go again. Yeah,
little batches. I mean that was marvellous. It's just a shame I can't knock them out like that when I'm doing the silver pouring. That's just like, we'll have 20 of them, please. Yeah.
So I'm just going to save the G code, which is the sliced file. So it's all the layers that we need, into the project folder that I've created, which is called Skullcoin 3D. And I'm going to change that file name to Skullcoin 3D. So. And I'm also going to save the project into the same location. And the main reason why I save the files is just because then I can reopen the this and get back to the same position. So with that done, I'm going to put it onto an SD card, get it on the printer, and then leave it to print for an hour.
As you can see, Silverpunks, the judges delivered with the 3D prints. I've got them here, and as you can see, they've come out really, really well. Look at them bad boys. So what we'll do now, we'll take a short walk down to the shed, we'll meet Judge in there, and we'll get stuck in and get on with the casting and the pouring of our very first production run. Right then guys, here we are. As you can see, we're over in the shed. We're about to do our first impression, skull number 1. As you've seen, Judge done all the prints of all the 25. We've got some of the others there, you're getting that. So this
pretty
one,
amazing prints, I'd say.
well yeah, they're not too bad, aren't they? You know, he's got keyboard fingers. So yeah, amazing prints that the judge has done, as you can see here. So I'm going to number this one number 1, because this is going to be the first one we do. So number 1, or actually I might have done it afterwards actually, because we were going to push it in sand. But anyway, we'll go with that. So now what we need to do is put a little bit of powder on it. So
what's the powder there for?
Well, this is just a bit of talcum powder, normal talcum powder, and what this does, it just makes it a little bit easier to get it out the sand. So okay. It gives it something that, so the sand doesn't stick to it. But I mean, what I'm going to do, we need to get a little bit of sand into it anyway, in the eyes and the sides. But we'll just try an initial impression without any, just to see, because otherwise sometimes it's difficult to get that little bit. The sand gets stuck in there and in the eyes. So we'll try without any. If that doesn't come out, then we stick some in and we push some in, so we can get like the
cool.
print.
It smells nice.
Johnson's, mate. Other
talcum powders are available.
yeah. So let's have it. We'll sieve some in.
Right.
Because it's best to sieve it in so you've got some fine. Just got a spoon. So you've got some fine grains of sand, casting sand going over it. So this is
what's this sand then?
This is like Petrobond type clay, casting clay sand, and basically it's just sand with like kind of like an oil in it.
Oh right, okay.
And you can buy it off eBay, Etsy, or Amazon, all online.
Yeah.
It's very good. Get a good impression. I mean, you can even make your own. I have seen people make their own with cat litter. Believe it or believe it not, some cat litter has, I can't remember what it is, what it's actually the actual name of it, but yeah, you can buy cat litter and do it yourself, soak it, and some of the cat litter has the type of clay that you can use, but you can just get it off eBay or wherever it's easier.
Yeah, but you can't just use like builder sand.
Oh no. I mean,
I guess you could, but would
you could, but you'd struggle.
The quality of impression.
Yeah, you'd struggle. You need something with a bit of oil in, really.
Yeah.
Right. As you can see, you've got the first bit in. When we're at that stage now, I kind of just to go to lumping, if I'm honest. Just get some in there.
So the impression, how we understand this here, so the impression's done upside down?
The impression's
so
done...
You're not pushing the...
I'm not pushing...
not pushing the model in, you're actually pushing the sand on top of the model.
Yeah, that's correct, yeah. It's just easier to do. I can push it down harder. I mean, if you see that's really compressing it down, and it just pushes in a bit easier.
Yeah, I see.
I mean, you can push it in. I mean, what I'll probably do, I will be pushing it in a bit more as well. It's just to create the initial impression, so you get a nice crisp skull coming out. I mean, you could just do it level flat nicely and then just push it in. You can do that, but I've just found this is the way to go with these little intricate ones.
And I guess it's smaller, so you've got less purchase on the...
Yeah, I mean, if you can imagine, if I get another one out, I mean, I've only got little thumbs, but you can slip, aren't you? When you're trying to push that in, I'm going to get an indent in the sand, and it's no good. So I'm just going to compact this down now.
Yeah.
And then what we'll do, we'll get it turned over. As I say, this one might not come out because we never had no sand packed into the little gaps in the mould, but let's just see. Let's get some in there.
But basically, you keep on doing this until you get a good impression in the sand.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, the whole... You're only as good... Right, I'm putting the pressure on the judge here. You're only as good, number one, the actual thing you try and mould off, and number two, the impression.
Well, we know these are good. So,
well, you say that. You say that. We haven't tried yet, have we?
Not this batch of prints, but you've already printed from. You've already sandcast something.
Some of your gear.
One of these already in a previous video. So yeah, there's no excuses. It's no.
You're only as good as your last print, Judge. Yeah. Okay. Right. So I'll turn that over. You can see there's the number one. So this is going to be skull number one. I'll just get rid of this sand out of here, and then we'll see what we've got to work with. Now, what we need to do now is push it down. Right, so we've got it there. Now we need to push it in a little bit more. Now this is always a little bit tricky. So I've got this little thing here where I push down. You can use anything really, but I just found it's easier to use something.
Scoop.
It's a melon baller. Don't tell the missus. Straight out the kitchen drawer.
I'm wondering why you've not been eating much melon lately.
bad melon. Right, here we go. See, it's going in. Just got to be very careful.
What, so you're adding like about another millimetre
A
or
bit
so?
more just aids me with the pour.
Maybe a couple mil more depth.
Maybe just go a little bit more. It just helps me when I come to pour. Because otherwise, if it's too shallow, when you pour it will just spill off. I've had that happen. So if it's a bit deeper, when you actually pour, it's got something to knock against. The silver can knock against the side and settle.
Right, okay.
So it's just helps me to avoid any runoff. The only thing with this, you need to get it level, because obviously you don't want to slant. So I just come down here and I just check to make sure we've got, like, I'm not sure if you're getting that on camera, but a level.
Yeah.
So it might need slightly a bit more over there. Looking at that, slightly there. Right, okay guys, now.
Well, I guess next time, if you'd told me, I'd have printed something with a deeper back, but...
Well, I thought it'd be, I thought you'd have known that, but... Right, so now, the only tricky bit now is getting that out of there, so...
Go on then, what's your trick?
Well, you give it a little bit of a tap, and now this is where you've got to be careful, because I'll use a pen. Give it a little bit of a tap.
Yeah.
And then I like to just push it slightly. It's just say, get a little bit of air under it. Now, it still feels pretty solid, so... Yeah, it's pretty solid. So, and now go to
your extracting tool.
Yeah, which is, again, don't tell the missus.
Corn on the cob.
Corn on the cob. Yeah, again. All
it's
kitchen.
all tricks of the trade.
Right, you see that we got a little bit of a wobble now. Are you getting?
Go on, give it another go.
See, you getting that? I don't know.
A little bit. Yeah, yeah.
So it should come. Yeah, it's starting to. It's alright, I don't want to wobble the camera too much.
So effectively you're getting it so it falls out of the mould.
Basically, sometimes you have to pull them out, but sometimes it should just fall out.
Right.
And I bet this is going to be a time where I need to dig it out, which is a pain. Oh, it's nearly there, but we'll give it a little bit of a dig out. But I mean, I'm expecting some sand to come away in it anyway. Right, there we go. So there's your little impression.
Okay.
Now, as we said, see how the sand's stuck in?
Yeah.
You've got some in his eye. So what I like to do, I mean, you can pour that. I mean, that'd be absolutely fine to pour, and it'd probably come out pretty cool because you can still see his two eyes,
yeah,
his nose, and a bit there. But what I like to do now is it's a bit of a rigmarole. I'll redo the process, but now we'll just take some of this sand away off here, and we can actually leave that in. Leave that in there, so when you actually do the impression again, it won't come away. You'll just get a nice pattern of the sand. So it's almost like what we're trying to create is like the skull is actually coming out of the ground. So you get like a, I don't want to say rough, yeah, but kind of like a rough finish. And like the eyes, just if we just put a little bit of sand in the eyes, when we come to do the next impression, they won't be as deep, so we'll get a better finish to it. So what I'll do, I'll quickly rub that in and then show you what I mean. So take a bit out, a bit too much, because we're going to do the impression again, so I'll do it on top of that so you can see.
But I guess this is part of the, it's handmade, it's, everything's unique, it's all done to touch and to feel.
Oh, exactly.
So you're not getting the same thing over and over again. We're getting, you know, unique.
Yeah, all bespoke.
Bespoke.
Yeah.
And you know, these little things, they're difficult to cast, aren't they?
Oh yeah, it takes the time. Like it does take the time. It's not like you're just pouring, I don't know, say 15 grams of silver and then stamping it. Oh no, I mean that's an art in itself. If I'm honest, you got to know what you're doing. But yeah, with these, it's like kind of trial and error, and we'll go for it. I mean, yeah, we could have got a nice pour and good pour, but it wouldn't been as good.
This isn't a production line, basically.
Sorry?
This isn't a production
line.
No,
it's
everything's unique.
Yeah,
everything's
one at a time. You can't just keep banging them out left, right and centre. So
right.
What we'll do now, basically we just got to redo what we've just done again. So I don't know if you want to see that.
Yeah.
So right, what I'll do, we'll go through and redo that now.
Yeah. Right, so we've got the, what do you call this thing? Ring?
Yeah, ring, yeah.
The ring.
Cast it, like, just like a casting, they call them flasks, but
okay,
yeah.
You've got the flask,
yeah.
ringy flask. You've got the 3D print with a bit of sand. Is there more talcum powder on
Yeah,
there?
I've redone the powder again, and as you see, like I discussed, I've compacted the sand in the open areas, the eyes and the nose.
Okay, so you're going to pop more of the casting sand onto the 3D print in the ring, and going to give it another go.
Yeah, that's right.
Get a decent impression.
That's what we're going to try. Now, hopefully this time, where we've got the sand impacted into that, it won't break out.
Yeah.
So it'll just stay. What you see there should come out like that, and we'll get a better impression. Because as I said, you could have gone with the first one, and it would have been okay. But okay isn't good enough for Silverpunk. It's got to be right. So
yeah,
you know,
we want it to be as
good as we can get it, and
every time.
Yeah.
You know, and if it's not quite right, then it's not worth doing, because we'll end up with a silver piece of art at the end of it that we're not satisfied with, so it'll get melted down, so there's no point in wasting that effort, is there? That's
right. And really this is I know it may look boring, oh god, putting sand in again, but this is where you make the end product. This is where the I don't want to say, magic. I couldn't think of another word, but this is where the magic happens. It's not like, you know, like the judge sitting on the computer and, like, you know, edit this, cut this, and this. I don't know.
Well, it's like prior preparation prevents pathetic performance.
Yeah, I was thinking another word, but yeah. Basically, yeah. As you know, the better you can get this part, the better the final piece of silver. So it's worth spending a lot more time on this. I mean, basically, you spend more time doing this part than pouring the silver.
Yeah, well, that only takes a few seconds, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you'd think the silver's the most important bit, the pouring, and it isn't. In my view, it isn't. I'd say this is the most important bit, making the actual mould.
We're going to do 25 of these.
Yeah.
But we're not going to do them all one at a time, are we? So,
no.
Like this, they're not all going into one ring. This is to show the whole process. So you can do multiples, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, when after this one, this is just to show the process, I'll be doing them in like wooden frames where I can get 5, 6 in at a time. So it's a bit quicker, but you've still got to, obviously, all 6 or all 5 has to come out.
And you've still got the same technical challenge of the print falling out of the cast.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
The good mould, because otherwise you might end up with, again, out of those 5 impressions, you might end up with only 3 that are worthwhile.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
So again, it's the effort going into making sure that the mould is as high quality as possible, right?
Yeah. Oh, that totally. And you increase your odds. You just increase your odds of getting some good ones, don't you? I mean, as I say, you could pour them all, but it's got to be decent.
Yeah.
Now I'm just pushing that down. I mean, you can use a hammer or a rolling pin just to hammer it down, but I just think I don't want to rock the cameras too much or anything, so I can give it enough Teddy doing it like that. There we go, look. Right. Let's clean that back off and have a look. I'm just scraping the excess off now. Right then, here we go then, we'll flip it over. There you go, number 1. Now what we've got to do, same as before, we've got to push it in a bit more.
Right.
So, let's have a go. I've compacted the sand a bit tough this time. You just got to watch you don't slip with this.
I could see a little bit of movement there, so that's probably a good sign that it's going to fall out.
That's right. See?
Yeah, I can see that.
So I'm just going to check. I think we'll go with that. Just maybe a little bit more that side. I'm just checking to make sure. Right, is it just up there? See, it does go down there. Yeah. Right, we're going to try and flip it out now. So
it's looking quite promising. I can see that.
There you go. Now, as you see this time, no sand has come out. Yeah. Because we compacted the rest, and we've got a nice, crisp, clean impression. Which now that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
To pour. So that's going to be number 1. As you say, there he is, number 1. So that's going to be number 1 skull. So I think what we should do now is get some silver heated up and give it a go.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Right, so the plan now is to weigh out some silver
Yep.
So you got your scales up.
Yeah, got the scales.
Walk us through what you do.
Well, basically, I'll just use a little paper cup.
Yeah.
Put that on, just bang the scales on.
Yeah.
What we're looking for, we want
17 grams.
17 grams approximately. So we're on grams. So I've got some grain here, some punk grain.
Yeah.
So let's just pop some in, and basically, it's just get it to as close as 17 grams as you can. Now, sometimes it's a bit tricky because obviously it depends on the size of the grain. I think that'll be over. Hold on. Nearly there. Another half a gram. Oh, too much.
Just over.
So I just basically play about now until
you get 17.
Until I get what I need. 18.
Are we using 17?
17.2.
Okay, that's good, isn't
I
it?
think that's pretty cool. You getting that?
Yeah, yeah. So we're using 17 grams.
Yeah.
Because we want a finished product that's between 16 and 17, right?
Yeah, basically as close to 17 as we can get it. But I mean, sometimes when you pour, you might lose a bit when you pour, and you might get some might stay in the dish, gets absorbed into the dish. I mean, to be honest, my dish is getting pretty old. I could do with a new dish soon, so I'm getting a bit stick in the dish. But we'll go with it, 17 grams, and we'll see what comes out.
Cool. Right, so the plan of attack now is to melt this 17 grams of silver, right?
Yeah, and I'm doing it in the whipping little crucible, little bowl, because obviously that's the way to do it. You don't want to be firing up the furnace just for that. So we've got the matte gas and the blowtorch, so we'll get it on. Ready?
Okay, cool, yeah,
Ready?
Go for it, go for it.
I could do with turning the torch around, mate. You see how he wants to climb up the dish there, that bit. So this is where you've got to manipulate it a bit, because otherwise you lose it. Right then, here we go. Skull pour number 1, nearly there. Get the edge of that really hot. Give it a last. When you think you're ready to pour, just give it another 10 or 15 seconds, just to be sure. Right then, guys, we're going to go for it. Skull pour number 1. There we go. It's plopped in. Oh yeah. Right guys, as you can see, it's cooled down, so what we'll do now, we'll get it flipped over. Right, we'll get it flipped over. When Computer Boy's got his camera going. You ready? Right then, let's have a look, see what we got. Oh yeah, look at that bad boy.
Looking good, mate.
Not too bad. Let's get you turned round for the quench. Right then, here we go, going in for the quench. Here we go, quench time. There you go, guys. Right then, let's dig him out and have a look, see what we got. Oh yeah, look at them apples. You getting him?
Oh yeah, hang on.
Skull number 1. You getting that, Judge?
Yeah, it's looking wicked, isn't it?
And there's the back.
Amazing.
So there you go, skull number 1 from the little 3D print number 1. So what we'll do now, shall we go inside and have a look at them together next to each other? Right then, punks, here we go, back inside. And as you can see, there's the mould, the impression mould that you just seen us, and there's the finished product. And now look at that bad boy. Look how cool that's come out. It's come out really well, really pleased. So there you go, you got number 1. And that's number 1. So what we'll do now, we'll give it a quick weigh. And we'll see how we got on. I think it was just over 17 grams we had going in. So let's have a look. So 16.8, 16.83, so not too bad. We lost a little bit to the pour, 16.8. So yeah, not too bad. So there he is. I've got to get a new melt dish as we discussed. But that's the very first one. That's going to be number 1. So we know how heavy it is. So now what we've got to do, I've got to do all these. We've got another 20, we were going to do 20 in total, I think now. So I've done number 1, so now I've got to get all these numbered up, number 2, number 3, number 4, etc. All the way up to number 20. And then get them all done, the same process that you've seen. So what I'll do, I'll go and do, I'm not going to show you that obviously, I'll go and get all them done off camera, then I'll come back and show you. And then we'll get onto the cleaning, and then they'll all be off to the assay office. Right then, punks. It's been pretty quick for you, but it's been a bit longer for myself, as you can imagine. There we go, all 20 done. All done with a different little impression mould. Now all the moulds have been numbered, as you've seen, 1 to 20. And I've also weighed all those, so we know what weight goes with what mould. So when we actually come to sell the product, what you're actually going to get, you're going to get the little silver guy, the little skull round, and you're also going to get the original mould that it was made with. So you've got a nice little bit there. You've got the mould and you've got the silver piece. So in the future, if you ever want any more done, you just tell us what number your mould is, and I can get the judge to go on the computer and he can find which number it is. We can print another one off and do you another mould from your number. And there you go. You can buy some more. So this is going to be our first production run, our first product. So there's going to be 1 to 20 of them. So what I need to do now is get these in the ultrasonic cleaner and get them cleaned before hallmarking. So I'll get that set up and come back to you when I've got that ready. So here we go, guys and girls. We're over at the ultrasonic cleaner now. As you can see, there they all are. All 20 of them in the basket, all ready to be cleaned. So we'll give them a nice ultrasonic bath. Get in there. Right, so I'll dip him in. There they go. And I'll get it switched on. Might be a little bit noisy. Hearing that. So they're in the ultrasonic bath now. We'll give them a good 20 minutes, a nice warm temperature, and then we'll come back to them when they're all nice and clean. Here we go then, out of the electronic cleaner now. They was in there for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. I've let them cool down a little bit because they do get pretty warm. So I'll just take them out, I'll get them dried off. Let's pop that back down there. Let's get them dried off, and then you can see the finished product before hallmarking. So what will happen now, we'll get these sent off to the assay office now, the Birmingham assay office, to get the hallmark on. They'll check them for purity to make sure the process has gone okay, and we've kept the 3/9 fine silver, so they'll do all the testing for that, and then they'll pop the hallmark on, and then once the hallmark's on, we'll be ready to offer these for sale. So exciting times. This is our very first product, as mentioned. Look at them bad boys. You getting them? Look at them. Very fun to do. Had great fun. Had Judge over, as you know, and we had a go showing him how it's done. But there we go, all 20. So what I'll do now, I'll get these off to the assay office, and the next time you see them, they'll all be hallmarked up. I'll give them a light polish, and I'll show you the finished product. So for you guys, that's going to be like that, but for us, it'll probably be about a week and a bit, a week and a half. So see you in a sec. Welcome back, Silver Punks. As you can see, all back from the assay office now. We've got all 20 of them, all lined up, all hallmarked, all passed the purity test. So all past the 3/9 fine silver. Really pleased. As you can see, our little skull army, all ready for action. So if I just turn one over, there you go, guys. I'll zoom in here. As you can see, there's the hallmark. You've got the SP in the little heart for Silver Punk. You've got the 3/9 finest mark. Then you've got the anchor for the Birmingham assay office. And then you've got the date letter Y for 2023. So all back, all accounted for. So now all we've got to do now is get them stamped up on the back with the numbers. And they'll all be finished and completed. So there you have it, guys and girls, Silver Punks out there. That's our very first production run of silver. The very first time me and the judge have actually done you know, like, as I said, like a proper production line. So there they all are in all the glory, 1 to 20. If you do want any more information regarding these little bad boys, just drop us a comment below. Thanks for watching, and see you guys and girls next time. Cheers.